happy. In every life we have some trouble.
Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day and fantastic week. Glad to be back with you guys here on Thursday night. Tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit about some things that are in the news and then a little bit about financial well being, financial planning, and well being, how all that ties together, how finances have an impact on your well being, and those kind of things. It's kind of fascinating. First of all, I'd like to welcome all those in that are new to the group or new to the live stream. Appreciate you guys joining up. We're going to have a lot more of these going on. We're going to have this weekly, and we're going to have a lot more content coming your way. As we mentioned last week, we relaunched the group, renamed it, have some exciting news coming down the pipe. We're working on quite a few things to offer to the group. So you're going to see more content, more support available, some new programs that are going to be offering. And I'm very excited to bring that all to you here in the coming weeks and months. In the meantime, we're going to kick things off, get things rocking and rolling again. So I'm sure a lot of you have been, hearing in the news about the shutdown. This has become way too common here in the United States with our government. So we had this not too long ago, several months ago, and here we are again. Really, it's sad that we're in this state, but it's just another reason for us to be prepared financially. Whether planning for our day to day or month to month, but also for our financial future. Put the control in your hands, not anybody else's hand, and not rely on other people like the government. I'm not saying anything about the government, but they're just repeating history over and over and over and over again. We have high debt, we have bipartisan fighting, constant things, threats of shutdowns. And when this government shuts down, it affects a lot of people. There's a lot of people that won't be getting paychecks. And that has a rippling effect down through the economy, services that we have, whether it's heaven forbid. I mean, our military is not going to be paid if the shutdown happens. Things like if you're in the middle of buying a house and you're getting a government backed loan like an FHA loan or something like that, it's going to come to a standstill because there's no one to process it. Passports, there's just a ton of things that we rely on from the government that provides, that our tax paying dollars provide for, that are just going to freeze because they can't get it together. It does affect things negatively. It throws the economy into a little bit of a spin temporarily. But just be prepared for yourself. Prepare yourself. In the past, in this group, we've talked about budgeting and planning and all that kind of stuff. We're going to touch on a lot of that stuff again. It just reiterates the fact of take care of yourself, be financially responsible yourself. So let's dive in a little bit. The other thing I want to touch on too about news, things in the news. One, do your research before jumping to conclusions of what's happening, especially when it affects like investments in the market. One of the number one things I see out there is people making emotional decisions based on things that are in the news. What you hear in the news about a company or a sector or an industry or whatever, it may be temporary. It may just affect that one stock. It may affect multiple areas, but it's temporary. You have to look at all the different aspects that play into what an investment cycle looks like, and don't react on emotion. You have to react on fact, and that's why having somebody in your corner that can help you out with that is critical, because it really can cost you a lot of money if you jump out of things at the wrong time. It can, I understand it's very emotional. You're tied to your money. I'm tied to my money. It's emotional, but you got to take that emotion out of it. Sometimes having a third party, really helps with that. One thing I want to talk about tonight, though, let's jump into the financial planning and well-being. I wrote an article about this recently. It went into a magazine or two, and it talks about the tie between financial planning and well-being. There's always uncertainties that rise. We just talked about things about in the news, and the significance of financial planning just can't really be understated. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and then I'll actually post this document out on the. Let's see. Let me pull this up here. Make sure I got everything. Uh, There we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to share this document. It's, like I said, it's an article. It's a short little article, that I wrote. I'll put it out there on the group for everybody to see it. I'll post it out there. It should I'll be able to put it in the guide section for everybody. But proper financial planning goes beyond just managing your money. It's an overall comprehensive strategy that ties into your well-being because it has to tie into your values and your goals for you and your family, um, and how you handle that. So, a couple of stats real quick. PricewaterhouseCoopers, a big consulting firm known as PwC, found that 58% of people cite financial issues as their top cause of stress. And a shocking 86% of people say that their mental health issues are made worse by thinking about money. Well, you've probably heard before that, money, obviously, what we just talked about there, 58% of people cite it as a stress, but it's also one of the number one causes, for couples to fight and get into issues. Just another reason to have things all put together financially. So, let me just go through this real quick. Uh, the foundation of financial well-being. So, like I said, it's a financial security and freedom allows you to focus on other aspects of your life. If you have your financial house in order, then you can focus on other more important areas of your life, or your family, your spirituality, whatever it may be. And you don't have to be constantly worrying about money. If you have a plan, have a plan, you make adjustments, and you monitor it as you go, and you just make adjustments. So let's go through a couple of these things. Setting clear goals, right? The role of financial plan, setting clear goals, begins with you have a short-term and a long-term goals. What are your goals for you and your family, both from a personal standpoint and a financial standpoint? Your personal goals are going to affect what you do financially. Later on, we're going to talk a lot about that as far as what that means, for retirement planning. Same kind of thing. What's your purpose in retirement? What do you want to do? It's going to have a direct impact on what you do and how you plan financially. So, like I said here, this could range anything from buying a home, funding education, ensuring a comfortable retirement. Your clear goals provide direction and motivation. Set your goals, write them down, look at them. Provides motivation as well to get your house in order financially, and sets goals in front of you to achieve that. And it helps it helps direct you in your financial decisions. Budgeting and saving. This is 101 stuff. And not everybody does it, and it's really critical. Before I start working with anybody, retirement planning, financial planning, anything like that, or coaching, we start with the basics. Because if you don't have the basics in place, it's going to be really hard to manage some of the other aspects of your financial life. Go out onto the YouTube page, or back in this group, you can find some things that when we had sessions about budgeting. Well, I'm sure we're going to talk about that again here in another session. But go out and check out, the YouTube page, and you'll be able to find out what we were talking about there. But creating a budget and tracking. So you create a budget. I call it $0 budgeting because you want to account, not that you have necessarily zero money left, but you're going to account for every dollar that you have coming in for that month. Some of it may be going to savings and retirement and education, or whatever it may be, but every dollar should be accounted for. And then you track that. When you first start a budget, you track that for a number of months to make sure you account for everything, so you know what's coming in and out. You'll be shocked about what's coming in and out of your account that you probably don't think about, because it just, use a credit card and then you pay it, or your debit card, and it just funds out of your account that you have it set up. Um, but should regularly set aside. You should have an automatic thing setting aside a certain portion of your income to savings and investments. That's going to lead to your long-term financial security. We'll talk a lot more about that later on. Emergency fund. Life's unpredictable. This world's unpredictable. Government shuts down. Layoffs, economy problems, whatever. You need to have emergency funds. I typically talk about having two different ones. One is short-term. Hey, my washer just broke down, or you have a car repair. That's a smaller emergency fund. Bigger emergency fund is 3 to 6 months worth of what your salary would be, what your income is as a household. So if something happens, you get disabled, or you get laid off, or whatever it may be, that you have some money to live on. It's not as stressful. Of course, it's never fun losing a job, and yes, that's stressful, but it takes some of that pressure off. And then if you do have to use it, then you have to replenish that. It does help, reduce your stressor. Risk management. Life is full of different risks. They're all over the place. First step in having a healthy financial well-being, and the first step of moving ahead financially, is make sure you're protected. What do I mean by that? There's a thing, as you may have heard, risk management, but there is a personal risk management as well. What does that mean for you? It means having some of the right insurances in place, right? You all have to have car insurance because the state and government, whatever, mandates that. House insurance, you're going to have that because your mortgagee requires that. But even if you didn't have a mortgage, you want house insurance in case something ever happened to your house that's rebuilt. Life insurance, if something ever happens to you, prematurely, then your family is taken care of. There's things like umbrella insurance that protect you. It's extremely cheap. That protect you against being sued. We're in a litigious society. People sue left and right. And once your policies are maxed out, then this umbrella policy kicks in and pays out, above and beyond that. Because if you don't have stuff like that in place, guess what? When those lawsuits come around, they're going to come after your savings, your retirement, nest egg, all those kinds of things. That's the last thing you want. You want to have some protection. You want to look at that on a periodic basis. Review: have I had a life event? Has my circumstances changed? Has my family changed? You have to have those protections in place, or you can find yourself in a real heap of financial mess. So we can go a lot deeper into risk management, but that's something to be aware of. Because if you have that protections in place, that gives you a little bit of peace of mind that if something happens, we're taken care of. You don't have to worry about it. And when things do happen, that you know lessens the blow, if you will, a little bit. Number 5, their investment strategies. Properly managed investments, obviously have the potential to grow your wealth over time. You got to diversify your portfolio. You got to do a risk tolerance assessments. What are you going to tolerate as far as a risk? What's your risk tolerance in your investments as far as gains and losses, and the ebbs and flows of your investments are going to go up and down like a roller coaster. And then obviously understanding the different investment vehicles. They're all different ways you can invest your money. Obviously, they're not all created equal. They all have their own purpose. And a proper plan will help you put that in place as far as what you should use at what time and how much. Having all that planned out, having a plan, whether you're a planner as a personality or not, having your financial plan in place is going to allow you to, like I said earlier, set things aside, not necessarily out of your mind, but have it taken care of so you have that peace of mind and don't have to worry about it on a regular basis. Debt management, prudent debt management. You know, uh, there's to me there's good debt and there's bad debt. Having a home mortgage and a mortgage, that's perfectly fine. But like I say here, striking a balance between necessary borrowing and excessive debt. There is that balance. There's a whole topic that I teach on debt management, and we'll talk about it here. What that does for your well-being. If you have a load of debt, it's weighing on your shoulders. It's stressful. You're thinking about it constantly. How are you going to make these payments? How am I going to pay this thing off? You got to be really now. There's times where you have to take on debt. I get that, especially when you're younger and you're getting going. But your goal should be to get that down, and just have your home left. And then another goal would be to pay off your home by retirement. That's a great goal to have. But managing your debt and doing that properly, living within your means, frees up resources for you to save for kids' education, for retirement, for buying a home, whatever your goals are. You got to control that debt. It's, in today's society, everybody wants everything now and compare ourselves to the Jones. What does that really get us, right? If you're constantly stressed out, and not secure in your own future, it doesn't do us any good. So mentally, all these things have a role. Yes, it's money, but think about all these different topics and how they can affect you from a well-being perspective. Your mental state. Last couple here on that side, retirement planning. Having the proper retirement plan in place. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot about this in this group. Having the safeguards in place, the right protections in place, the right plan in place to grow your nest egg to where it needs to be, but also to help, up front, like I talked about, define your purpose for your retirement. What do you want to do in retirement? That's going to help determine how we go about planning. What's your desired lifestyle after you stop working? You got to figure that out. Calculated retirement expenses, retirement income, Social Security optimization, all the different retirement account options. How you grow your money, how you disperse your money makes a difference. Do I have enough money to last my whole time in retirement? There's a lot of different factors that go into retirement and retirement planning. Some of it's financial, some of it's well-being. Critical to have a solid plan in place, and start as early as possible. Tax efficiency. Well thought out plan considers tax implications. Your investments, your home ownership, your how you claim taxes, how you put taxes on your deductions. A lot of different things. Consult with someone that has that knowledge. Be tax efficient. Yes, we're going to pay our taxes. The government does provide different services, but you don't want to overpay taxes. You want to be efficient with it. Okay. All these things are, have a direct impact from a financial planning standpoint on our overall mental state and well-being and the stresses that come upon us from all these different topics. Um, all right, uh, faith, family, and finances. Obviously, all this kind of plays in together and has a big impact on our well-being. So, balancing faith, family, and finances is an art that leads to a fulfilling life. Integrating these aspects contributes to a holistic approach, which I firmly believe in. When we're sitting there doing planning, or you're sitting there doing planning, look at all the different things that come into your plan. It's just not financial. Aligning values, aligning your financial goals to your personal values, things that you do, where you put your money, where you spend your money, how you invest your money. Are you being good stewards of your money? All of that, aligning your values with your financial well-being, your financial strategies, your financial fitness, if you will. Legacy and estate planning, leaving a legacy, passing not only your wealth that you have, but your beliefs and values along to your children and your grandchildren. Put together a proper estate plan. There's a lot of ins and outs to that, whether you do wills or whether you do trust. I'm a big proponent of, look, you spent your whole life working. Use your money in your retirement to enjoy it yourself. Don't necessarily give it to the kids and just have a no nothing retirement because you want to leave money. You can do life insurance for pennies on the dollar to leave a legacy if you want to leave a legacy. Doesn't say you have to leave a legacy, but that's why not enjoy your retirement? Guess what happens if you just sit there and do not do anything in retirement because you want to leave a legacy to somebody? You're not having any fun. But then when you pass away, they're going to go take the vacations, have the boats, have the fabulous time. Um, you worked hard for it and you enjoy it. There's ways to provide a legacy without sacrificing your retirement. Um, all right, the link between financial and overall well-being. Like we talked about, all these different topics. There's some integral components there. Financial planning directly impacts overall well-being in several ways, and we're going to list a few things out. I really touched on them already. Reduces stress. Financial worries, significant stress in most people's lives. Having that plan in place reduces that. Improve relationships. If you have your financial plan in place, you have your financial everything defined, and it's going to help get rid of some of those arguments. A lot of spouses have arguments about finances, and the strained relationships. Make sure you have open communications about the finances. Don't hide anything. Work on it together, and foster healthy discussions around it, both for with your spouse and your family. Enhance mental health. Achieving financial goals provides a sense of accomplishment, and it does. You save for something, you hit that goal. You're saving money. You got a plan in place. It's an accomplishment to just even have a plan in place. And then once you start hitting goals, that's fantastic. It's a boosting thing when you achieve those goals. But also, having that plan in place, reducing the stress, has a positive impact on the mental health. Life transitions. Life is full of transitions. Financial planning ensures you're prepared for them. Like I said here, whether it's starting a family, sending a kid to college, uh, getting ready for retirement, planning for a wedding, whatever it is, you have a plan in place and it eases the transition instead of just, oh, wow, this has popped up on me tomorrow and I got to figure it out. Who needs all that stress? Um, Empowerment and control. Financial knowledge empowers you to take control of your financial future. Knowledge is key. Learning is key. Learn how to do all this. It empowers you to take control of your financial life, which then helps downstream in your overall well-being, both financially and mentally, and with relationships. Just decrease that stress overall. Um, in summary here, what I wrote here is just as a football team strategized to achieve victory, a holistic approach to financial planning positions us for success in the game of life. Financial planning and well-being are intertwined in a cooperative relationship. A comprehensive plan not only helps you financial security, but also contributes to reduced stress and enhanced overall well-being. Hopefully you can see that. Let me stop sharing my screen here real quick. Um, and this is just an outline. These are just kind of the bullet points, if you will. And I'll put that up here online for you guys to take a look at. These are just the bullet points. There's things to go in depth in each one of those topics that we just talked about. There's things that you can do. There's knowledge that you can gain, plans that you can put in place, how to tackle each one of those. One of my goals is for you, as you and your family, to have less stress in your life as it relates to finances. But like I said earlier too, it all needs to tie back to you as your core values and your family and how you live your life and what you believe in. Let's align your financial plan and around that. There's plenty enough in this world to worry about. Lord knows that, right? Let's take the financial stresses out of the way and get rid of that for you. All right. So, guys, I appreciate it. Hopefully, this was helpful. Like I said, this is just kind of an outline. Over time, we'll be diving into each one of these different topics. Hit me up if you have any questions. In and around any one of these, you can message me on Facebook. You can schedule a time with me on my calendar here. Happy to help any of you guys out. If you just have a simple question, put some comments down in the comment section. Hit me up with a hashtag live if you're watching this live, hashtag replay if you're doing the replay. Schedule a time with me. Hit me up on Facebook, Messenger, or any of the other outlets, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. More to come. Super excited about this group. Super excited what we have planned for you guys coming in the near future. And we will talk soon. We'll do it again next week. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk soon.